Today we are going to be looking at mixing our own neutrals or grays. There are many different ways to make neutrals and to make grays. My favorite way is by mixing complements, the colors opposite each other on the color wheel. You can also mix your grays by using the 3 primaries. So let's try some of these, and just to give you some new ideas on how to make gray. The first mixture that we're going to use is an unusual mixture of Naples yellow. This is Naples yellow by Sennelier. It is an opaque color, but I use it often. And we're going to mix that with ultramarine violet. This is an M-Gram color. And if you're like me, you just like to see these things mix. I love mixing these colors and watching them do their thing. And you can see that because the Naples yellow is so soft, it really takes a lot to get that gray. But it's absolutely beautiful. Beautiful combination for a very soft gray. The other one that I really like a lot is cerulean blue. And this is cerulean blue chromia from Daniel Smith. I'm just letting this out with water so we can get the softer version of it. And light red by Holbein, which is a beautiful earthy PR 101. So that makes a nice combination there. And you can see that makes a really lovely neutral color. This light red is the color that I found from Thomas Schaller. Let's just pick up the excess down here so it doesn't drip into the next box. Right, the next combination is that same cerulean blue chromia. With burnt sienna. And my favorite burnt sienna at the moment is Da Vinci's burnt sienna deep. But I also like Daniel Smith, and I also like Core has an interesting burnt sienna. It's extremely granulating to the point where it's kind of hard to handle, but I do like the color. And of course, if you know about mixing blues and oranges, you can take it, if you put more blue, you can take it toward more the gray side, and if you add more of your red, you'll get much more of a warm brown kind of neutral. Okay, this one is gold ochre, and as you can see, I use a lot of brands of paint. I have my favorite pigments in each brand. I don't use a lot of Winsor Newton, but I do love their gold ochre. Cobalt blue violet by Daniel Smith. Let's see what we get here. This is really a good way to test your colors, because you can determine which color is more dominant. Obviously, the yellows are going to be less dominant, generally speaking. Just going to let those down and get some nice neutrals in there. See, we're going toward the brown side there because I added more of the gold ochre. But if we add more of the cobalt blue violet, it should go back to more of a gray. This is an unusual combination of quinacridone violet. This is M. Graham. And this is Viridian by M. Graham. I don't use Viridian on its own, but it's turned out to be quite a nice mixing color. You can do a lot of interesting things with Viridian, and look at that combination. It's just beautiful. Gorgeous neutral in there. So it really, which combination of complements you use will depend on what your favorites are, but it will also depend on the color palette that you're using in your painting. So if you're doing a floral, you might want to use a neutral and more in this combination. If you're painting Italy or you know, buildings or earthy subjects, you might want to use this. This would be beautiful for skies. And lavender, and this is a lavender I mix myself. Over the years, I've gotten into mixing my own colors. And the interesting color here, of course, is the lunar black. And you use just the smallest bit of the black because it's going to dominate that lavender. And if you mix these together, they're actually lovely mixed together as well. But you can see we're getting a fabulous gray there. Beautiful gray. That's one of my favorite combinations. This is one with a red and a green, which of course are complements. This is using quinacridone rose, which is also a very strong color. Isn't that just luscious? Just beautiful. And the Viridian, of course. Viridian is a much softer green than its counterpart, which is phthalo green. A lot of people use phthalo green. Use phthalo green because it's just too harsh for me. But I've really learned to like Viridian, and see you get an absolutely beautiful gray in there. And the other reason I like mixing this way is the granulation. It's just, in my opinion, it's just beautiful. Now this is a classic combination of, I think everyone knows this, cobalt blue with basically a PR 101 or a burnt sienna. This happens to be the light red by Coal Mine. This is a combination Tom Schaller uses all the time, and he does it with great success. If you've ever, I'm sure everyone knows who he is. His paintings are wonderful. He's a wonderful painter. And see, we're leaning toward the warm side. So we go in with a little more blue, and we'll get it more to a gray. And here's the other, even more common combination, and that is burnt sienna and ultramarine blue. This is also known as Jane's Gray. Jane Blundell patented, I guess patented is the word, this mixture for Daniel, well, for herself, and Daniel Smith sells it. And this, of course, can go anywhere from a soft gray to a black, depending on how strong the pigments are. It's really lovely. And here's the burnt sienna with the cobalt blue, just to show you what that looks like. It looks very close to this, actually. That ultramarine blue was ultramarine blue deep by Senoyer. It's my favorite ultramarine. You see we're getting a lot of browns in there, which is really pretty. Of course, the ultramarine is stronger than the cobalt blue, so you get a slightly different effect there. All right, here's an unusual one. This is Pyro Red. And this is a Pyro Red Deep by Core. My favorite dark red. I do have certain brands that I like better than other brands. So you can get a maroon there. But you can also get a black with this that's gorgeous. You see, we're kind of getting it there. Just really, this is a great dark neutral combination. And similar to that is alizarin crimson and turquoise. And this alizarin crimson is M grams, and the turquoise, of course, is M grams. So they should play really well together. I am a colorist, so I spend a lot of time playing with color. It's just the most relaxing thing in the world to sit down and to see what you can come up with colors. All right, this one is Transparent Pyro Orange, which is my favorite orange by Core. Just luscious. And it's Complement, which is cobalt blue. I could have made my boxes a little bigger, but I wanted to do a lot of examples for you guys. Hopefully my color theory class will continue in September. We had to shorten it due to COVID. This makes beautiful browns, as you can see right there. Now this is an unusual one. This is Soda Light by Daniel Smith. And I'm really into granulating colors right now. So I've been playing a lot with these granulating colors and pigments. And this is combined with Quin Gold Deep, which is my favorite dark orange. This one is by Core. It's actually a PO48. You can see you can get beautiful grays and browns with this. It's another nice dark. And the last one today, that beautiful brown, the last one today is Ultramarine Blue Deep and the PO48, which is the Quin Gold Deep. This has different names and different brands, but Core calls it Quin Gold Deep. I don't know why. They do. You can see you get just the Satellite is darker, so you're getting more of a dark brown. The ultramarine, of course, is brighter. So you're getting more of a brightened effect there. Very pretty. You can also get the brown. You can also push this to, you have to use a lot more blue to push it to a gray because the PO48 really wants to make a brown. It really does. But see, you can get the gray. You just have to work with it. Okay, there you have it. There are some mixtures. And when this dries, I'll take a photograph of it and attach it to the video, hopefully, if I remember. And I suggest that you practice using your complements to make neutrals so that you find a combination that you know that you might really like to use most of the time. And then if you really like it, you can take those two pigments and you can mix them together on your palette in a well and have that neutral ready anytime you need it. I love this one so much. So I hope you found this helpful. We will see you soon.